This one is for my men. What if I told you that the bacteria in your gut can directly influence the quality of your sperm? Recent research shows that men with certain gut bacteria profiles have a 50% higher sperm motility than those with dysbiosis or microbial imbalance. This isn't theoretical. I've seen firsthand with my patients, especially one that comes to mind is Michael, who has given me permission to share his story. After 3 years of trying to conceive with his wife, including multiple semen analysis showing poor motility and morphology, Michael was told that there wasn't much he could do beyond the basic supplements that he had already done for years and lifestyle changes, which he had been completely open to making, but were not making any difference. But when we investigated his gut health, we discovered significant imbalances that were directly impacting his reproductive function. After implementing a 30-day gut restoration protocol I'm about to share with you, his follow-up semen analysis showed a 127% increase in motile sperm count and a 45% improvement in morphology. 3 months later, his wife did get pregnant naturally. Today, I'm revealing the specific gut-sperm connection that most fertility specialists never discuss and the exact protocol that's helping men transform their reproductive health from the inside out. Hi, I'm Dr. Omatma, the holistic fertility doctor, and even though I'm a doctor on YouTube, and I'm not your doctor. So make sure to consult with a practitioner that you're working with personally before you follow any advice on the internet, including this advice. Before we dive deeper, let's acknowledge the elephant in the room. We're facing a male fertility crisis. Research published in Human Reproduction shows that sperm counts have declined by over 50% in Western countries in just the past 40 years. And if this trend continues, most men will have zero sperm in the next 15 years. So the urgency is real, and despite the fact that male factors contribute to 50% of infertility cases, the focus typically remains on the female. So, with men often receiving minimal testing and few evidence-based interventions beyond basic lifestyle advice, it's super important that men listen to this video. When men do seek help, the approach usually centers around antioxidant supplements, avoiding hot tubs, and maybe wearing looser underwear. While these recommendations have merit, they often fail to address a fundamental system affecting reproductive function, the gut microbiome. Emerging research from institutions like Harvard and the Cleveland Clinic is revealing that there are trillions of bacteria in the digestive tract that play a crucial role in male reproductive health, influencing everything from testosterone production to sperm development to DNA integrity. This information is revolutionary for couples struggling with male factor infertility because it opens an entirely new avenue for intervention, one that's non-invasive, evidence-based, and addresses root cause issues rather than just the symptoms. Michael's case is not unusual. Many men with suboptimal sperm parameters have underlying gut imbalances that, when addressed, can significantly improve their fertility. Let's explore the science behind this connection. Your gut microbiome, the ecosystem of bacteria living in your digestive tract, influences virtually every system in your body, including your reproductive system. I have talked about this plenty related to female fertility, but it's time to address the men, the other 50% of the equation. These bacteria aren't just passive residents, they actively participate in hormone regulation, immune function, and inflammation control, all critical factors in sperm production. Let's break down the specific connections between gut health and sperm quality. First, there's a testosterone microbiome connection. Research has shown that certain gut bacteria metabolize and recycle testosterone, directly influencing how much of this crucial hormone is available for sperm production. A 2021 study found that men with higher levels of Prevotella and Bacteroides had significantly higher testosterone levels compared to men with dysbiosis. Then there is the inflammation connection. Your gut lining serves as a barrier between the bacteria in your digestive tract and your bloodstream. When this barrier becomes compromised, a condition increasingly labeled leaky gut or intestinal permeability, inflammatory compounds can enter circulation and travel throughout the body, including the testes. A groundbreaking study published in the American Journal of Reproductive Immunology found that men with higher levels of systemic inflammation had significantly higher rates of sperm DNA fragmentation, a key marker of sperm quality that impacts fertilization and embryo development. The oxidative stress connection is equally important. Certain gut bacteria produce antioxidant compounds that help neutralize free radicals throughout the body. When these beneficial bacteria are depleted, oxidative stress increases, and sperm are particularly vulnerable to oxidative damage due to their high content of polyunsaturated fatty acids. Research from the Cleveland Clinic shows that men with higher levels of oxidative stress markers have significantly lower sperm counts, motility, and normal morphology compared to men with lower oxidative stress. Finally, there's the blood-testes barrier, a protective barrier similar to the blood-brain barrier that shields developing sperm from harmful substances. Emerging research suggests that gut inflammation can compromise this barrier, exposing the developing sperm to toxins, inflammatory compounds that impair their development. In Michael's case, comprehensive stool testing revealed several key imbalances that were directly impacting his reproductive function. Let's look at what we discovered. When Michael came to my practice, his previous doctors had focused exclusively on his reproductive system, but our comprehensive approach included advanced microbiome testing to assess his gut health. The results revealed, first, his microbial diversity score was significantly below optimal. Diversity is a key marker of gut health, and research shows that higher diversity correlates with better overall health outcomes, including reproductive function. Michael's score was in the 30th percentile, meaning 70% of the population had a more diverse gut bacteria than he did. Second, he showed elevated inflammatory markers, particularly LPS or lipopolysaccharides and zonulin. Zonulin is especially important because it indicates increased intestinal permeability or leaky gut, which allows inflammatory compounds to enter the bloodstream and potentially affect reproductive tissue. Third, Michael had a significant deficiency in butyrate-producing bacteria, specifically Faecalibacterium presunti and Roseburia species. These bacteria produce butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid that research has shown is crucial for maintaining the intestinal barrier and regulating inflammation, both essential for sperm production. Fourth, his tests revealed an imbalance in bacteria that metabolize environmental toxins. This is particularly important for men as environmental chemicals are endocrine disruptors that impair testosterone production and sperm development. Without the right bacteria to help eliminate these toxins, they can recirculate and cause more damage. Finally, we found that the presence of opportunistic bacteria, including moderate levels of Klebsiella and Citrobacter, were interfering with nutrient absorption and triggering immune responses that affect reproductive function. After completing the 30-day gut restoration protocol that I'm about to share with you, Michael's follow-up testing showed remarkable improvements. His microbial diversity increased into the 68th percentile, more than doubling his initial score. Inflammatory markers normalized, butyrate-producing bacteria more than tripled, and the opportunistic bacteria were significantly reduced. These microbiome improvements correlated directly with improvements in his semen analysis. Sperm concentration increased from 12 million to 28 million per milliliter. Motility improved from 32% to 58%, and normal morphology increased from 2% to 4%. Granted, these are not amazing results, but they are moving in the right direction, especially in a very short period of time. If he continues with these improvements, I imagine that his levels will continue to keep rising. Last but not least, most importantly, his DNA fragmentation index, a measure of the sperm DNA damage, decreased from 38% to 22%. Again, moving from high damage category to moderate category. Still, on all levels, more improvement was needed. But this was a really great start, and we knew we were headed in the right direction. These weren't just numbers on a lab report, they represented significant increase in Michael's chances of conceiving naturally with his wife. But before I share the exact protocol that achieved these results, let's look at some of the surprising factors that harm the male microbiome. Many men are unknowingly engaging in habits that damage their gut microbiome and by extension, their fertility. Some of these factors might surprise you because they're often marketed as health promoting. Let's get into it. The first category of problematic factors is protein powders, overconsumption, and artificial sweeteners. While protein is essential for health, many commercial protein powders contain artificial sweeteners, gums, and fillers that can disrupt the gut bacteria. Research has shown that artificial sweeteners like sucralose and aspartame can alter glucose metabolism and disrupt gut bacteria, leading to dysbiosis and inflammation. Michael was consuming 2 protein shakes daily with artificial sweeteners, believing they supported his fitness goals, not realizing that they were potentially harming his fertility. The second surprising factor is over-exercise without adequate recovery. While regular physical activity benefits fertility, especially in men, excessive high-intensity exercise without proper recovery can increase intestinal permeability. A study in the Journal of Applied Physiology found that intense exercise without sufficient recovery increased gut permeability up to 60%, allowing inflammatory compounds to enter circulation. As a competitive cyclist, Michael was training intensely, 6 to 7 days a week without adequate recovery periods, potentially contributing to his gut issues. Third, common medications can significantly disrupt gut flora. Things like NSAIDs, ibuprofen, antacids, and antibiotics can all alter the microbiome. Recent research shows that even short courses of these medications can cause lasting changes to the gut bacteria composition. Michael regularly took ibuprofen for exercise-related soreness and had completed 3 courses of antibiotics in the previous 2 years for recurrent sinus infections, all potentially impacting his microbiome. Fourth, even healthy high FODMAP foods can be problematic for sensitive individuals. Foods like garlic and onions and apples and cauliflower contain fermentable carbohydrates that, while nutritious for many people, can trigger digestive distress and microbial imbalances in sensitive individuals. Michael was consuming large amounts of these foods in his healthy diet, including garlic and onion in almost every meal and cauliflower rice as a staple alternative to regular rice, potentially feeding the wrong bacteria in his gut. Finally, environmental toxins in everyday products can harm gut bacteria. Chemicals in conventional cleaning products, plastics, and personal care items can disrupt the microbiome. A study in Environmental Health Perspectives found that common household chemicals altered gut bacteria composition in ways that promoted inflammation. Regarding alcohol, even moderate consumption can have a specific impact on the male gut microbiome. Recent research shows that regular alcohol consumption reduces beneficial bifidobacteria and increases potentially harmful bacteria like Proteobacter. Even 2 drinks daily, well within what's considered moderate, can significantly alter the microbiome in ways that affect hormone metabolism. Michael typically had 1 to 2 beers daily and more on the weekends, potentially contributing to his microbiome imbalances. Remember, alcohol is a sanitizer. We use it on surfaces to sanitize surfaces. We use it on our hands to sanitize our hands. If we're consuming that alcohol internally, we are killing all of the microbiome that is in our gut. So By identifying these specific factors that were disrupting Michael's microbiome, we could create a targeted protocol to restore balance and support his fertility. Let's look at exactly what we did. So the exact protocol that transformed Michael's gut health and sperm parameters, we structured a 4-week program with the 4 R's: remove, replace, reinoculate, and repair. In the remove phase, we began by removing foods and factors that were disrupting Michael's gut microbiome. Rather than follow a generic elimination diet, we actually tested his body to create a more personalized approach. For Michael, this meant eliminating protein powders that had artificial sweeteners and additives, removing high FODMAP vegetables like onions, garlic, and cauliflower, gluten-containing grains, alcohol, and processed foods with emulsifiers and preservatives. We also identified household products that might be affecting his gut health, particularly antibacterial cleaning products containing triclosan, which research has shown can disrupt gut bacteria. Michael switched to natural cleaning products and personal care items free from endocrine-disrupting chemicals like phthalates and parabens, which can directly impact testosterone production. Importantly, we worked with his doctor to evaluate his medications. Michael was taking ibuprofen several times a week for exercise-related pain. We found alternative pain management strategies and temporarily discontinued supplements that weren't serving his gut health. The second phase was to replace. In the second week, while continuing the removal phase, we focused on optimizing Michael's digestive function to ensure he could properly break down foods and absorb nutrients essential for sperm production. We implemented a comprehensive digestive support strategy, a broad-spectrum digestive enzyme with meals to improve protein and fat digestion, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in some water before meals to support stomach acid production, and bile support supplements containing artichoke extract and dandelion to improve fat digestion and hormone metabolism. Mindful eating practices like not walking around or being on the go while eating, but rather focusing on chewing his food in a relaxed environment to support his digestion. We also optimized his meal spacing, implementing a 12-hour overnight fast to support gut healing and the migrating motor complex function, which helps clear bacteria from the small intestine. In week 3, we focused on reinoculation, rebuilding the beneficial bacteria. In week 3, we began strategically reintroducing beneficial bacteria to rebalance Michael's microbiome. Based on his test results, we selected specific probiotic strains research-backed for male fertility. We started with Lactobacillus rhamnosus, GG, and Lactobacillus reuteri, which studies show can reduce intestinal inflammation. Bifidobacterium lactis has been shown to improve gut barrier function, and Saccharomyces boulardii, a beneficial yeast that crowds out opportunistic bacteria. We introduce prebiotic foods that feed the beneficial bacteria, starting with small amounts and gradually increasing. Partially green bananas that contain high amounts of resistant starch are particularly helpful in feeding the beneficial bacteria, along with cooked and cooled rice, which becomes a resistant starch when cooled, small amounts of Jerusalem artichoke and jicama, and modified citrus pectin as a supplement. We also supplemented a strategic fermented food protocol, including small amounts of traditionally fermented food, water kefir as a dairy-free alternative, small amounts of beet kvass, and fermented vegetables like sauerkraut, starting with just 1/4 teaspoon of the juice and gradually increasing. In week 4, we focused on repair of the gut lining. In the final week, we focused on repairing Michael's intestinal lining to reduce systemic inflammation and create an optimal environment for hormone production and sperm development. The key nutrients for intestinal cell regeneration include L-glutamine at about 5 grams twice a day, on an empty stomach, zinc carnosine, which research has shown specifically targets the repair of the gut lining, collagen peptides, which provide amino acids that support tissue regeneration, and vitamin A to help support the epithelial cell function. We emphasize anti-inflammatory foods and supplements like omega-3 fatty acids from low-mercury fish and supplements, turmeric with black pepper for enhanced absorption, ginger as a tea and added into meals, and bone broth or vegetable broth with medicinal mushrooms. For reducing intestinal permeability, we included marshmallow root tea and deglycerinated licorice before meals. Aloe vera, a couple of tablespoons a day, also will help support intestinal permeability. Finally, we implemented stress management techniques specifically supporting gut healing. Diaphragmatic breathing before meals, meaning breathing well into the belly before eating to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, a guided visualization practice to focus on gut healing, and gentle yoga poses to stimulate healthy digestion. Vagus nerve stimulation can also be super beneficial to help get the body into a parasympathetic state to support gut healing and digestion. Throughout this protocol, we continuously monitored Michael's symptoms and made adjustments as needed. The key was personalization and flexibility. This was not a rigid program, but a responsive approach based on his body's feedback. As Michael progressed throughout the protocol, we tracked how his improving gut health was directly influencing his hormones and sperm parameters. Let me explain the specific connections we observed. First, let's talk about the gut testosterone connection. As Michael's beneficial bacteria increased and inflammatory markers decreased, his testosterone increased from 440 to 600 ng per dl, a 43% improvement without any testosterone-specific supplements. The science behind this is fascinating. Certain gut bacteria produce enzymes that affect how testosterone is metabolized and recycled in the body. Additionally, inflammation can increase the activity of aromatase, the enzyme that converts testosterone to estrogen. By reducing inflammation, less testosterone was being converted to estrogen, leaving more available for sperm production. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism demonstrates this connection, showing that men with specific gut bacteria profiles have significantly higher testosterone levels compared with men with dysbiosis. Next, let's examine the gut detox connection we observed in Michael's case. As his microbiome improved, his body became more efficient at eliminating environmental toxins that can harm sperm development. The liver detoxifies these compounds, but they're often reabsorbed in the intestines unless the right bacteria are present to facilitate their elimination. As Michael's beneficial bacteria increased, we saw improvement in markers of toxin elimination correlating with reduced sperm DNA fragmentation. A study in Environmental Health Perspective shows this connection, demonstrating that men with higher levels of certain gut bacteria have lower levels of endocrine disrupting chemicals in their blood and better semen parameters. Stress gut fertility cycle was another critical factor in Michael's case. Before the protocol, his elevated stress levels from work and fertility concerns were disrupting his gut bacteria, which in turn was affecting his hormone production and creating more stress, a vicious cycle. Research in psychoneuroendocrinology shows that chronic stress reduces beneficial bacteria like lactobacillus and bifidobacterium while increasing potentially harmful bacteria. The shift promotes inflammation and reduces the production of neurotransmitters like serotonin, 90% of which is produced in the gut. As Michael's gut health improved, his stress resilience also improved. He reported better sleep, better mood, and less anxiety about fertility, all factors that supported his overall reproductive health. His cortisol levels, measured through saliva testing, decreased by 37% over the 30 days. Finally, we observed improvements in nutrient absorption that directly supported sperm production. Healthy gut bacteria are essential for synthesizing and absorbing key nutrients like B vitamins, vitamin K, and certain amino acids that are crucial for sperm development. Michael's follow-up testing showed significant improvements in B12, folate, and zinc, all of which are critical for DNA synthesis and sperm formation, despite no changes of his supplement regimen. This improvement came purely from better gut function and nutrient absorption. Based on Michael's success and the latest research, let me share the specific foods that most powerfully support both gut health and male fertility. Prebiotic-rich foods that feed gut bacteria, such as Jerusalem artichokes, jicama, and even green bananas, raw or partially cooked, cool, and potentially even cooled potatoes are great for resistant starches. Asparagus and leeks, if tolerated well, can be great prebiotics, and things like flax seeds and chia seeds also provide omega-3 fatty acids. Fermented foods with live beneficial bacteria, such as water or coconut kefir, are extremely beneficial. Traditionally fermented sauerkraut and kimchi, miso, and tempeh are all potential fermented foods that can be beneficial to gut health. Anti-inflammatory foods that support sperm quality, like wild-caught fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel, walnuts and Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts specifically can provide selenium, which is going to help improve testosterone levels and potentially sperm motility. And then dark leafy green vegetables, which are high in folate. Colorful vegetables provide antioxidants that can protect the sperm from oxidative damage. Specific nutrients for sperm production include grass-fed beef and pasture-raised eggs, specifically for zinc and B vitamins, pumpkin seeds for zinc and healthy fats. Dark chocolate can potentially be great for the antioxidants, and pomegranate juice, if okay with blood sugar levels, can provide compounds that support sperm concentration and motility. Foods to minimize or avoid: processed meats that are high in nitrates, high mercury fish like tuna or swordfish, soy products in large quantities, excessive alcohol more than 2 to 3 drinks per week, and foods that are high in trans fats or refined sugar. While food should be the foundation, targeted supplementation can accelerate gut healing and sperm production. Here's the evidence-based protocol we use for Michael. The core gut healing supplements were a high-quality probiotic containing Lactobacillus rhamnosus, Bifidobacterium, and Saccharomyces boulardii. L-glutamine at 5 grams twice daily on an empty stomach for intestinal repair. Omega-3 fatty acids, 2 to 3 grams daily combined EPA and DHA from molecularly distilled fish oil, and zinc carnosine, 75 milligrams daily for gut lining integrity. The sperm-specific nutrients that we chose for him specifically were CoQ10 200 to 300 milligrams of ubiquinol, for mitochondrial support, vitamin D at 2,000 to 4,000 IUs daily based on his levels in lab testing, folate 400 to 800 micrograms in the methylated form, and selenium mostly from Brazil nuts, but we did add some extra selenium because he was deficient. Advanced gut support included digestive enzymes with meals containing protease, lipase, and amylase. We use apple cider vinegar for his stomach acid support, marshmallow root and DGL for gut lining support, and curcumin with piperine for anti-inflammatory effects. We started with this protocol for 30 days and continued on for another 60 days, with a total of 90 days to get the full cycle of sperm development and then reassessed. Some supplements like probiotics and omega-3s were continued long-term, while others, such as L-glutamine, were cycled off. Beyond the diet and supplements, several lifestyle factors significantly impacted gut health and sperm quality. Exercise optimization was crucial. For Michael, reducing his intense training from 6 to 7 days a week to 4 to 5 days a week, incorporating more recovery time, was essential to helping heal his gut lining. We also needed to prioritize sleep. 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep, especially during the gut healing phase, was crucial for him to support the dysbiosis, or getting rid of the dysbiosis, and improving his testosterone production. Michael also implemented blue light reduction exposure before bed, which I think was crucial in supporting his sleep quality. I do have some videos on sleep, so make sure to check those out on my channel. Daily meditation, even for 5 to 10 minutes, significantly improved Michael's stress markers and gut health. We also incorporated breathing exercises before meals and regular time in nature to support his stress levels. Michael switched to glass food storage containers, filtered water, and natural personal care products, all of which helped to reduce his environmental toxin burden. He also improved ventilation in his home and chose organic foods whenever possible. We monitored Michael's progress through multiple markers. Within a few weeks, we saw better digestion, reduced bloating, improved energy levels, and better sleep quality, as well as his Oura Ring, which showed improved recovery. Objective improvements within 3 to 4 weeks showed improved bacteria diversity, reduced inflammatory markers, and improved testosterone levels. In 3 months, the semen analysis showed a 127% increase in motile sperm and a 45% improvement in sperm morphology, significant reductions in DNA fragmentation, and natural conception was eventually achieved in another 3 months. Michael's story demonstrates the powerful connection between gut health and male fertility. By addressing his microbiome imbalances, we were able to significantly improve his sperm parameters and eventually help him and his wife conceive naturally. The key takeaways from this approach: male fertility issues often have root causes that aren't addressed by conventional testing. The gut microbiome plays a crucial role in hormone production and sperm quality. Comprehensive testing can identify specific imbalances. Targeted protocols can help to produce significant improvements within just 90 days, and the approach should be personalized based on individual testing and symptoms. If you're struggling with male factor fertility or you're not sure, consider a comprehensive gut health test and working with a holistic fertility-focused practitioner that's familiar with the gut fertility connection. The investment in testing and targeted treatment is often far less than assisted reproductive technology and can provide benefits that extend far beyond fertility. Remember, improving gut health benefits overall health, energy, mood, and longevity, making this approach valuable regardless of your fertility goals. For more information on gut health testing and personalized protocols, definitely feel free to reach out to us. Our link is in the bio below. And if you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your partner. Until next time, this is Dr. Amatma, the holistic fertility doctor, reminding you that fertility takes two. It's about healthy egg and healthy sperm for healthy babies. See you next time. Peace.